Urban Medical God Chapter 1, Get Out of Here. Jiangqing High-Speed Railway Station, the summer is hot. A thin figure appeared in the bustling crowd, attracting attention. The owner of the figure is a young man. The young man is wearing a washed almost white army green t-shirt, a peaked cap, and an old-fashioned canvas bag diagonally across his body. He is holding an ID card in his hand, which shows that the young man is Yi Chen. Yi Chen's dress is really incompatible with the people around him. Although Jiangqing is not a first-tier city, it is also at the forefront of a second-tier city, so even if migrant workers come here, they will pay a little attention to their image, but Yi Chen's dress is really shabby. At this moment, Yi Chen passed by a tall beauty. The beauty glanced at Yi Chen's dress, her brows frowned. But this frenzy caused Yi Chen to see that the beauty of the Ford Palace is black, which is a typical disaster. In other words, she must have a disaster today. Beauty, I think you have a disaster today, it is better to shed some blood to prevent future troubles. Yi Chen kindly reminded. Unexpectedly, as soon as this was said, the tall beauty turned red, and she opened her handbag nervously, and sighed when she found that Hu Shubao was carrying it. Then, the beauty glared at Yi Chen fiercely, and even snorted, "Rogue." Rogue? Yi Chen was a little dazed. I kindly reminded myself, how come I was scolded as a hooligan in the end? What kind of world is this? Could it be that in the 5 years of his absence, women have become like this? Yi Chen shook his head helplessly, and walked outside the high-speed rail station, but when the tallest building in Jiangqing appeared in front of Yi Chen, his footsteps suddenly stopped. He raised his head, his eyes were as sharp as an eagle, and he murmured. Jiangqing. Yi Chen finally came back. 5 years ago, the banquet at Yunhu Villa caused my Yi family to be wiped out, leaving me alive. If it weren't for my mother to push me into Dongqian with the last bit of effort lake, maybe Jiangqing has no Yi family. Speaking of this, Yi Chen's fists suddenly clenched, and a powerful evil spirit spread in all directions, and the surrounding tourists felt an invisible hand as if they were strangling their throats. In an instant, it is hell. Zhao Qinghao. Wan Chang. Zhou Zhenglong. And those who coldly watched my parents being killed. You must not know that Yi Chen is still alive. Perhaps I would also like to thank you. If it were not for you, I would not have been saved by the master, let alone come back with a magical spell that can help the world to cry ghosts and gods. This time, I swear, anyone involved in that matter, I will let you repay 1,000 times. A few seconds later, Yi Chen finally released his hand, recruited a taxi, and headed towards the city center. If it is a few seconds later, the passers-by may not be spared. Along the way, past events kept reappearing. Yi Chen was almost suffocated in pain. He was originally born in a big family, and he had no worries about food and clothing. Although he was always called trash by people in the circle, a family of 3 was considered a happy one. But it was the party at Yunhu Villa 5 years ago. His destiny has completely changed. His father offended a man from Beijing to save a little girl. The man was furious. Slap in the face of father. He killed his father himself in front of countless people. During the whole process, no one stood up to stop it. Including those families who once pleased the Yi family. Includes those old friends of his father. Even includes the uncle he has always trusted. He was crazy, he was struggling, and he even took a knife and rushed towards the man. But in the end, he was stopped by the man with one hand. He clearly remembered the man's indifferent eyes and cold words. Jiangqing Yi family? What kind of thing? Even if you are a family in the capital, Lao Tzu can be destroyed by one hand. And you, a little thing beyond your own control, I heard that you are a famous trash here. Haha, still want to kill me? Even if it is given to you for 100 years, it will not change the fact that you are a waste. To everyone's surprise, a woman suddenly rushed over at this moment, exhausted all her strength, and pushed the boy to Dongqian Lake. The moment he fell into the lake, the boy watched his mother rush towards the man. With a determination to die. Yi Chen thought that his life would end here, but he didn't expect him to be rescued by an old man in the lower reaches of Dongqian Lake. The old man took him into a place isolated from the world, taught him the supreme alchemy method, and taught him to practice 9 heavens Xianyang Ju. In the past 5 years, no one knows what happened to Yi Chen in that ethereal place. I only know that there was a demon born there, codenamed Bloodthirsty Dragon. Jiangqing Huamei Group. Yi Chen looked at the note in his hand, then looked at the sign on the gate, and walked in when he was sure it was correct. This time, he planned to go directly to the capital to find the man who appeared in Yinhu Villa. After all, in the past 5 years, he most wanted to kill this person. For clues to this person, he only knew that everyone around him called him Dragon Lord. From the capital, the rest are blank. But when I was leaving, the old man asked me to go to Jiangqing first and find a girl named Xia Ruoxue. The old man once wandered to Jiangqing and had a love-hate relationship with Xia Ruoxue's grandmother. Yi Chen even wondered if Xia Ruoxue was the old man's granddaughter. 3 days ago, the old man turned the heavenly secret to break the formation, and discovered that Xia Ruoxue must have a catastrophe within 100 days, and this disaster is very likely to make her disappear, and Yi Chen's fate happens to be the purple dragon that can't be detected by the gods. Grid, so to break the game, there is no other way but Yi Chen. As for how to break the game, the old man never mentioned, he just asked Yi Chen to take a step. Stop. Suddenly, a cold voice sounded, and I saw that Yi Chen stood in front of 2 burly men with a height of 1.9 meters. Both of them were wearing security uniforms. They had dark skin and sharp eyes. The muscles of the arms were curled up and they were very visual. Impact. Yi Chen raised his brows. Naturally it was impossible to do anything with such a security guard, and explained, "Hello, I am looking for Xia Ruoxue." One of the security guards heard Xia Ruoxue's name and sneered, "You can find President Xia on your own." "Ha, do you have an appointment?" "No." Yi Chen said truthfully. "Then do you have a work permit for Huamei Group?" "Nor." Hearing this, the arrogant color on the security guard's face became more intense, and he looked at Yi Chen condescendingly, stretched out his hand, pointed to the door, and disdainfully said, "Since there are none, it is the door, please go out." Huamei Group, as one of the top 500 in China, is also one of the leading companies in Jiangqing. As the security of Huamei Group, it naturally feels like a superior. They don't need to look at anyone's face, they just need to expel such miscellaneous people. At this moment, a few men in suits and leather shoes got out of a Mercedes-Benz E200. First they went to the front desk and asked about it. It seemed that they were also looking for Xia Ruoxue. The result was naturally exactly the same as Yi Chen. Several people shook their heads. After considering a few seconds, I finally chose to wait on the sofa. Yi Chen didn't intend to get involved with the 2 security guards in front of him. He pointed to the sofa in the lobby and said, "That way, I'll wait there for a while." After speaking, he walked straight to the sofa. But before taking a few steps, he was blocked by the 2 security guards again. "Boy, your mother is deaf, right? Don't force Lao Tzu to say it a 3rd time. It's the door, get out." A security guard pointed at the door and shouted aggressively. Yi Chen frowned. He just came to Jiangqing and didn't seem to offend these 2 guys. As for the fact that he kept making things difficult. Then, he pointed to the men in suits and asked, "Why can they sit and wait, but I can't?" One of the security guards glanced at Yi Chen from head to toe, and sarcastically said, "Is it the same as you, a bunny who still wants to see Mr. Xiao? Don't pee and look in the mirror. Go away. If you don't go away, believe it or not, you throw it out." Yi Chen shook his head helplessly. He understood that these 2 security guards were arrogant, and it was obvious that he was completely unworthy of sitting and waiting. Unexpectedly, after 5 years from Yu reading www.yuukangshu.com, Jiangqing is still that Jiangqing. What if I don't want to leave? Yi Chen's face sank. Don't go. I think you are looking for death. The words fell, and one of the security guards patted Yi Chen's shoulder with a hand, and the veins in his arm burst. There was a cruel smile at the corner of his mouth, because as long as he exerted his strength gently, the thin boy in front of him would surely fly 3 meters away. Just a few days ago, there was also an unknown hillbilly who challenged his authority, but he was thrown out with one hand, and he is still lying in the hospital now. The security arm suddenly exerted force, but Yi Chen did not move. Gradually, the security's smile solidified. His face became even more frightened. Because he found that the young man in front of him was like a mountain. Can't lift it at all. At the same time, a sense of death spread along his arms toward his back. His whole body is soaked. Another security guard noticed something wrong with his companion, and smiled. "Stone, you can't, you still sweat so much during the day, did your wife squeeze you out last night?" "I'll do it." After finishing speaking, one of his hands also moved towards Yi Chen. "Go away. I don't want to kill." Suddenly, Yi Chen's icy voice sounded like a rolling thunder. At the same time, his left foot slightly stepped on, and there was a flow of air all over his body, and he ran into the two security guards directly. The two only felt a powerful force hit their chests, and couldn't help it anymore, spit out a mouthful of blood, and flew straight out. Finally, his body hit the toughened glass in the hull heavily. Boom! The whole piece of glass collapsed. There was a loud noise. Urban Medical God Chapter 2, Beauty Relief. At this moment, the whole hall is as silent as death. Everyone looked at the somewhat flimsy young man dumbfounded. "Nima, is this filming? Let me go, what kind of monster is this special mother? This, killed. The little beauties at the front desk were even more scared and hid directly behind them. In their opinion, the two security guards of the group are already terrifying, but this young man who sells goods is even more terrible. The point is, they didn't even see this guy making a move. Yi Chen glanced at the two security guards who had fainted and shook his head helplessly. Then he went to the waiting area of the lobby and sat down on the sofa. He even picked up a magazine and looked at it. People who are okay. By the way, do you know when Xia Ruoxue will be down? Yi Chen put down the magazine and suddenly looked at the men in suits and leather shoes sitting beside him. The few partners who had originally planned to wait for Xia Ruoxue stood up from the sofa and ran outside. They don't want to die. Hey, I won't hurt you, as for. Forget it, wait a while. Yi Chen shook his head and continued to look at the magazine in his hand. The security department of Huamei Group knew about the incident for the first time, responded quickly, and quickly transferred more than a dozen security guards. A dozen security guards were fully armed, holding an explosion-proof shield in his left hand and an electric baton in his right hand, directly surrounding Yi Chen. The security captain Su Chang also arrived in time, glanced at the glass outside and the two injured security guards, frowned, and then came to Yi Chen. Su Chang is a retired special force, and he was one of the best in the southeast military region, but when he saw Yi Chen, he instinctively felt a slight threat. This is a death intuition that has been on the verge of life and death all year round. Su Chang took a step forward and tentatively said, "This gentleman, you are making trouble in the Huamei Group like this, okay? We have already contacted the Jiangqing police, and the armed special police will come over soon." Yi Chen raised his head, glanced at Su Chang, and said lightly, "You should be the leader of those two guys, don't you know the specific situation? I just want to sit here and wait for someone." Su Chang shook his heart. He also knew the personalities of the two security guards. He had always used his identities to show off his prestige. Obviously, he was kicked to the iron plate today. But what about this young man in front of me? Seeing that this guy looks confident, is there someone in the group? Su Chang calmed down a bit, and asked, "This gentleman, I don't know who you are waiting for. I can help you inform." Yi Chen raised his eyebrows for joy, and quickly said, "Xia Ruoxue." Almost instantly, Su Chang's face changed. If it was someone else, he could really tell. But Xia Ruoxue is different. As the president and CEO of Huamei Group, she is the daughter of the Xia family, the first family in the province, and the first of the three flowers in Jiangnan province. How can you see it casually? And Xia Ruoxue said that she would never see her without an appointment. The youth in front of me is dangerous to some extent. Never let him see President Xia. Sir, I'm sorry, Mr. Xia is not here today. If you have any issues, you can leave your contact information and I can tell them on your behalf. Su Chang said. Yi Chen knew very well that Xia Ruoxue was on it. This time, he deliberately made a big noise to get her out, so he would definitely not let Su Chang tell him. I have nothing to do this afternoon, just sit here, Huamei Group won't even let you sit down. Su Chang saw Yi Chen's intention at a glance, and snorted coldly, Sir, you are toasting and not eating fine wine. If that's the case, then I'm sorry. Do it, take this kid. The words fell, more than a dozen security guards went towards Yi Chen, and at the same time, Su Chang turned his fists into claws and took Yi Chen's vitals. He knows very well that the man on the sofa is very dangerous. Must kill. Yi Chen still held the magazine, his expression was indifferent, and he didn't take the person in front of him seriously. Just when Su Chang was about to touch Yi Chen, a cold voice sounded. Wait a minute. Hearing this voice, everyone stopped, and a woman soon emerged from the crowd. The woman's big wavy black hair has the right texture, and her slender thighs wear black stockings, showing her perfect figure. The white shirt and the knee-length skirt made her look inviolable like a goddess. But the most attractive sight is the pair of unusually tall breasts. The plump and round made her shirt rise to the limit, but there is no drooping appearance, giving a thrilling visual impact. The appearance of the woman almost made everyone present bewildered. Because her appearance is unparalleled in the entire Huamei Group except Xia Ruxue. Su Chang's face was also reddish, and he lowered his head, respectfully saying, Director Sunday. Sunny did not answer, but stared at Yi Chen tightly. There was some surprise in the eyes. And Yi Chen is the same. The light shines in his eyes. It is like a wild beast eyeing its prey. Because he knows this woman in front of him. Sun Yi. That Yi Chen is one of the 3 women who have been lingering dreams for the past 5 years. Many years ago, the two had been at the same table for a year, and then went to high school. Due to the disparity in status, the two broke off contact. Yi Chen thought that the two would not have too much intersection in this life, until the Yunhu Villa incident happened. After he was rescued by the master in Dongqian Lake, he went to the Yi family again. At that time, the Yi family courtyard was sealed by the court. The Yi family has become the existence of everyone in Jiangqing. At that time, all the families announced that they had broken up with the Yi family and would not contact the Yi family. At that time, Jiangqing large and small enterprises jointly invaded his father and created the Tianjin Group. Yu reading www.yuyukangshu.com. At that time, there was not even a person who established a reputation for their family of 3. Almost everyone is shrouded in the shadow of the man in the capital. Except for one person, that is his junior high school classmate Sun Yi. Sun Yi went to the mortuary of Jiangqing No. 1 hospital to get the bodies of the Yi family and his wife. He went to the crematorium for cremation and set up a tombstone for Yi family Sanku in Tiandang Mountain. A woman who has no power to bind a chicken, a woman who has nothing to do with the Yi family, just resisted the rumors and fear, so that the dead souls of Yi Chen's parents could rest in peace. Not only everyone does not understand, even Yi Chen does not. Yi Chen how can he meet such a good girl to pay for him? I don't know how long it took. Sunny smiled and smiled at Yi Chen, smiling like a flower. This smile made all the men present both envious and jealous. Sun Yi is the dream goddess of countless men in the Huamei Group. After 1 year, Sun Yi received hundreds of love letters, but without exception, they were all rejected. Even this year, she hardly smiled at any man. But at this moment, she actually smiled at a hillbilly. Why is this hillbilly? Sun Yi looked at Yi Chen interestingly, and said, It seems that I am dazzled. I almost thought you were my former classmate. Let alone, you really look alike. After all, 5 years have passed, Yi Chen has changed so much that most people really don't recognize it. After finishing speaking, Sun Yi patted Su Chang on the shoulder, and said, Captain Su, don't embarrass him. If he wants to wait, let him wait for a while. Su Chang nodded and stopped talking. Urban Medical God Chapter 3, Who do you think you are? Ordered everything, Sun Yi walked outside, opened the driver's seat of a Beetle, and sat in. Just when she was about to drive, the door of the co-pilot suddenly opened, and Yi Chen took the opportunity to sit in. Yi Chen followed up because he found a cloud of black fog in Sun Yi's hall, and the black fog was a little bloody. This is a sign of something big. Whether it was for the relief just now or the incident 5 years ago, he couldn't let Sun Yi suffer any harm. Sun Yi looked at Yi Chen in the co-pilot, and was surprised at first, and then smiled. "Little brother, what are you doing? Thank me." "Actually, I have learned from others about the previous things, but those security guards wrong first. You don't have to thank me. By the way, why do you have to see Xia Ruxue? You don't have any beauty remedies to promote." The reason she said this is because there were people who dressed similarly to Yi Chen last time, and they came to sell some beauty remedies, saying that they could bring the beauty industry of Huame Group to a higher level, but they were thrown out by the security guards. This year, most of the barefoot doctors from the countryside came to the city for this purpose. Yi Chen glanced at Sun Yi. He found that this little girl had really changed so much. When he was studying, he often laughed at her for being an airport. He remembered that once he cried her with anger, but now it seems that this is hot. The figure and the proud bust are estimated to have a D cup. "You got in my car to sell this recipe, right?" Sun Yi found that Yi Chen looked at her chest. She was not angry, even deliberately stiff. I don't know why, she has an inexplicable affection for the young man in front of her. Maybe it's because of that old classmate who is like dead. Yi Chen came back to his senses. Naturally it was impossible to explain the old man's things, so he could only cope with it. "You have discovered all of this. I am also very confident in my remedies, which can not only beautify your body, but also make your body look better. Better. When he comes back, the biggest reliance is not on his cultivation, but on the medical skills he dares to fight against the king." He casually throws out a pill of Zhu Yen Dan, which is enough to make beauty companies around the world it. "Oh, it's so amazing. The little brother, touch my legs and see, do you think my legs can look better?" Sun Yi became interested and moved her slender legs closer to Yi Chen. She was only joking, but she didn't expect Yi Chen's hand to really stretch out, and even to touch her thigh fiercely. "To be honest, your leg is perfect, you don't need my prescription at all." Sun Yi's face blushed instantly, and she groaned, "Humph, you are very honest, I didn't expect to be like other men. Obviously you let me touch it." Yi Chen touched his nose helplessly. Sun Yi gave Yi Chen a white glance and drove the car directly towards Longhu Hotel. "Since you touched my leg, I happened to be attending a party and punished you to stop all the wine. By the way, I haven't introduced myself yet. My name is Sun Yi, the marketing director of Huame Group." Sun Yi controlled the steering wheel with one hand and stretched out one hand towards Yi Chen. Holding both hands together, Yi Chen felt extra soft and delicate. "My name is Yi. Yi Chen, honest and trustworthy." Since the other party did not recognize him, Yi Chen didn't want to say anything. If Sun Yi knew that he was not dead, it might only be scared. Yi Chen noticed that the moment he said his name, Sun Yi's body trembled, and he let out a sigh of relief when he heard the explanation later. "What a coincidence, you and my old classmate have the same pronunciation, but the words are different." 20 minutes later. Longhu Hotel, Emperor Ballroom. The moment Sun Yi and Yi Chen appeared, everyone's eyes fell on them invariably. Sun Yi's figure is too hot and dazzling. She is 1.7 meters tall and the proportions of her legs are almost against the sky. Her decent dress is in sharp contrast with Yi Chen next to her. No one thought that Director Sun of Huame Group would bring such a person to the party. Sun Yi took Yi Chen to the glass round table in the middle and sat down. There were already 7 or 8 people sitting there, all men. They looked at Sun Yi with fiery eyes, and they even wanted to rush Sun Yi immediately. "Director Sun, I finally look forward to you. It's better to see it than to hear it. I am Guo Haidong, the founder of Yunxin Group. Director Sun, my name is Chen Yong, and Haiyong Hotel is my family's property." The men who stood up and introduced them were extremely enthusiastic, just wanting to show their strength in front of Sun Yi. Yi Chen wasn't interested in this kind of gathering. He kept paying attention to his surroundings. He wanted to figure out what would threaten Sun Yi. Soon, the banquet began. The man sitting at Sun Yi's table didn't know whether it was intentional or unintentional. They all looked for various reasons to respect Sun Yi's wine. Sun Yi was obviously familiar with this wine table culture. A small glass of red wine. Yi Chen tried to help Sun Yi keep off the wine several times, but was rejected. After all, the entire Huame group represented by Sun Yi could not hurt his peace at this banquet. Until the man sitting at the main table not far away stood up, the atmosphere of the whole banquet changed. A man in a custom suit, holding 2 glasses of wine in his hand, his face full of pride. Sun Yi saw this man approaching, her whole person became panicked, and even her body trembled. How could this guy be here? Miss Sun, last time you left without saying goodbye, you didn't give me Chen Feng face, right? This glass of apocalyptic wine, should you drink it? When Chen Feng came up, his tone was not a request, but an order. Last time, he paid a lot of money to get Sun Yi out, and even put medicine in the wine. What he didn't expect was that Sun Yi discovered something was wrong with the wine and splashed it directly on his face. In the past few days, this matter has spread all over the circle, leaving him very shameless. Sun Yi was a little embarrassed, and hurriedly said, Chen Xiao, I'm really embarrassed. I drove here this time, and it's not very good to drink. Why should I use tea instead of wine to apologize to you? Chen Feng snorted coldly and drank 1 glass of wine. Don't bully me. I have opened the presidential suite upstairs. If Miss Sun is drunk, she can live on it. The men at the same table with Sun Yi naturally recognized Chen Feng, and did not speak, as if watching a good show. After all, the man in front of him is the second young master of the Chen family in Jiangcheng. Who dares to offend? Some people even urged, Director Sun, Xiao Jingchen, your wine is good for you. Why don't you drink it? If you don't drink it, Xiao Chen will be in trouble. Yu reading www.yuukangshu.com. Yes, Director Sun, it's just a glass of wine. What is there to be afraid of? With so many people, Chen Xiao will eat you. Sun Yi looked at the wine that Chen Feng handed over with a dilemma. If there is any problem with the wine, she may really not be able to leave the Longhu Hotel today. Chen Feng's virtues, the whole Jiangqing people know. As long as it is the woman he likes, even junior high and high school students will do it. How can you drink this kind of scumbag wine? Chen Feng saw that Sun Yi refused to take the wine in his hand for a long time. He was a little angry and completely changed his face. Smelly bitch, what do you think you are? Damn, don't pretend to be a fierce woman in front of Lao Tzu. Today, you don't want to drink, you have to drink. Even if Xia Rushua behind you is here, it will be like a mother. This is Jiangcheng, Lao Tzu's site. Hear you. The atmosphere has completely changed. Sun Yi just stood alone, motionless, her eyes gradually reddening. She was born in an ordinary family, gave up her studies early and stepped into the society, and finally got the position of director in the Huame group. It seems to outsiders that she is already superior. But when faced with these real characters in Jiangcheng, he couldn't do it at all. She is too small, small enough to be like a dust in front of these people. She even hates herself for being a woman. She slowly raised her hand and walked towards the glass of wine. In the eyes of outsiders, Sun Yi seemed to have resigned. A triumphant smile appeared on the corners of Chen Feng's mouth. He even thought of the picture of Sun Yi carrying on his hips tonight. Just as Sun Yi's finger was about to touch the wine glass, a cold voice sounded. What are you, dare to let her drink? Urban Medical God Chapter 4, Stop Piercing the Genius. At this moment, the whole world seems to be quiet. Everyone did not expect that at this time, there would be people who would stand up for Sun Yi, and they would not die. What is Chen Feng? Chen Feng is the young master of the Chen family. Although the Chen family is not strong in the business world, in politics, there are 2 senior officials in the Chen family in Jiangcheng. More importantly, there is a big man standing behind the Chen family. Is said to be an ancient warrior. This is also the reason why Chen Feng is unscrupulous. Everyone stared at Yi Chen who was talking, and some people even thought of the scene of this young man dying on the street. Xian Yong, who had cheated on Chen Feng before, stood up angrily and pointed at Yi Chen and cursed, "You knowless thing, do you know who you are talking to? I think the clothes on your body add up to 100. If you can't, you are a country boy who dare to offend Chen Xiao. Believe it or not, I have a phone call to make you unable to hang on in Jiangcheng." Another person echoed, "This kind of and his nonsense, drag it out." Just when there was a mess here, Chen Feng smiled, almost crazy. Huh, boy, you are very good. You are the first to talk to me like this in so many years. Want to play a hero to save the United States, do you think you are qualified? Chen Feng approached Yi Chen step by step, with a hint of murder in his eyes. Although this is a legal society and cannot kill people, in Jiangcheng, his Chen family is very lawful. Sun Yi's face was pale, she didn't expect things to develop like this. He even involved Yi Chen who had just met. If I knew Chen Feng would be here, I wouldn't come to kill her. Right now, she was beginning to worry about Yi Chen's situation. After all, these people are not good at stubborn, maybe they will really kill people. She couldn't take care of the others anymore. She directly grabbed the wine glass in Chen Feng's hand and apologized. Chen Xiao, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, my friend has never seen the world and didn't deliberately contradict you. I will drink this wine. From now on you want me to be like this, but can you please let me go? Her voice trembled, even with a hint of prayer. Chen Feng noticed that the guests in the entire banquet hall were looking here, and his eyes became ferocious in an instant. Sucky bitch, what qualifications do you have to negotiate terms with me? I won't kill you at night, this stinky. Snapped. The words were not finished yet, a clear slap resounded throughout the hall. Chen Feng fell directly to the ground, a trace of blood leaking from the corner of his mouth. He was slapped in the face. At this moment, everyone present was stunned. Looking at Yi Chen one by one, it was like hell. This boy not only dared to scold Master Chen, but even slapped him. Is it really fatal? Shut up, didn't your mother teach you to respect women? Yi Chen finally spoke, and even more easily took the wine glass from Sun Yi's hand and poured it directly on Chen Feng. Since you like drinking so much, I will give you this glass of wine. Chen Feng, who was still a little stunned, was completely awake. He pointed to Yi Chen and said angrily, You shit, does your special mother know who I am? You dare to fan lousy. Even special mother pouring me wine, today I want to you die. No one can keep you. After finishing speaking, he looked at the two bodyguards not far away, and roared, What are you guys doing? Kill him for me. Something happened, I'm holding him. The two bodyguards reacted, drew out a telescopic stick, and walked directly towards Yi Chen. The two immediately surrounded Yi Chen, and they smashed it down without hesitation. Extremely fast. If this stick hits someone, it will definitely lose its combat effectiveness. These two bodyguards knew very well that Chen Feng was injured and it was their negligence. If even this kid can't take it down, they are really in trouble. Just when the stick was about to fall on Yi Chen moved. He changed his fist into a palm, and slapped a bodyguard directly with a palm. At the same time, his body turned quickly, and he slapped another bodyguard. Bump. The two flew out almost at the same time, and they smashed on the round table aside. Bump. The glass of the round table shattered instantly. Make a loud noise. Spike. A complete spike. In the horrified eyes of everyone, Yi Chen took a step forward, came to Chen Feng, and slowly squatted down. Watching Yi Chen's face keep zooming in, Chen Feng's whole body is like a falling ice cellar. He realized that the guy in front of him was not a human at all, but a devil. The devil who dares to challenge the authority of the Chen family in Jiangcheng. He even saw the killing intent in the opponent's eyes. As if the other party would really kill him if he wanted to. And killing him in front of so many people. I spill your wine, can you serve it? Yi Chen said. Serve, take, I take. Chen Feng said with a trembling voice. Yi Chen slapped out with a backhand, then shouted. I slap you, can you take it? I take it. I really know I was wrong, brother, how can you let me go? Chen Feng is really going to cry. What kind of monster is this special mother? Yi Chen nodded with satisfaction, and directly picked up the phone next to him, stood up, and then threw the phone on Chen Feng's body. Call Chen Jinghua, read www.yuukangshu.com and let him kneel in front of me, I will consider letting you go. After speaking, Yi Chen turned around, holding his hands behind him. Didn't notice anything, when he turned around, what kind of killing intent appeared in his eyes. Because of the gathering at Yunhu Villa, Chen Jinghua, the head of the Chen family, happened to be there. He even clearly remembered how this man abused his father after his father died. What? Everyone present suspected that they had heard it wrong. This guy actually asked Chen Feng to call Chen Jinghua. Who is Chen Jinghua? He is the patriarch of Jiangqing Chen family. In the whole Jiangqing, who would dare to call Chen Jinghua by the name? Not to mention making Chen Jinghua kneel. At first, everyone just thought this young man was crazy. But I didn't expect this young man to be madly boundless. Chen Feng was also stunned. He was thinking of looking for a chance to let his father take action afterwards, but he never expected that this guy actually asked him to call his father directly. What is the difference between this and death? Moron. That, are you sure? Chen Feng tentatively asked. Yi Chen didn't answer, but sat back in his place calmly, picked up the chopsticks and started to pick up the dishes. Finally, Chen Feng got up and made the phone call in the corner. No one knows what Chen Feng said on the phone, only that Chen Feng's whole person has changed after the call, and his eyes are extremely sinister and ferocious. Sun Yi naturally noticed this. She looked at Yi Chen, who was calm beside her, with more regret in her heart. She shouldn't have brought this kid. This guy is just crazy. You have to pierce the sky of Jiangqing to let it go. Urban Medical God Chapter 5, Hey, do I have to take action? Sun Yi poked Yi Chen with her elbow, and whispered, What are your nerves? You are still young, don't take your own life. The Chen family is scarier than you think. Let's do this, you will pretend to go to the bathroom later, and then try to run out, the farther the better. Then, Sun Yi took out a bank card and car key from her bag and handed it to Yi Chen from below. She looked around with beautiful eyes and whispered, You keep this card. There are 300,000 in it. The code is 61. This is all my savings over the years, and this car key. Can drive and run, the more biased the better, remember, don't look back. Yi Chen was stunned. He didn't expect that this girl would still consider others at this time. What about you? Yi Chen turned around, staring at Sun Yi tightly. What do you care about me? I'm a girl, they can kill me, but you can't do it, you go quickly, it's too late to go. Just then, a majestic voice rang out. Today, no one wants to step out of this banquet hall for half a step. Chen Jinghua is here. The door of the banquet hall was pushed open, and a dozen bodyguards in black suits stood in 2 rows. The eyes of these people are cold, full of killing intent. Very strong. Soon, a middle-aged man with a Chinese character face came in, his face was full of majesty and anger. He is the head of the Jiangqing Chen family. Chen Jinghua followed an old man behind him. The old man hunched his back, his feet were light, his eyes scanned the audience. Yi Chen naturally also noticed the old man, slightly surprised, because the other party was actually a cultivator. To be precise, it is not a cultivator. There is no dantian in the opponent's body, only some special air currents. According to the old man, this should be the ancient warrior hidden in China. Interesting, Jiangqing actually has this kind of master. Yi Chen's mouth outlines an arc. Sun Yi saw that Chen Jinghua was coming, and he shook his heart, muttering, It's over, it's all over this time. She had already thought of the next situation of the two of them. She glanced at Yi Chen beside her, and she almost exploded. This guy is still eating food. It's this time, it's still reborn like a starving ghost. Have you never eaten in your life? Yi Chen, what are you doing? Chen Jinghua is here, why are you still thinking about eating? Sun Yi is almost crying. Yi Chen quickly clipped a piece of spare ribs to Sun Yi. This spare ribs tastes so good, you can taste it, I really didn't lie to you. Sun Yi. Qian Yong. Owner of the banquet hall. When Chen Feng saw his father appear, he rushed over and cried to Chen Jinghua with tears and nose, Dad, this is the guy. He just threatened to kill me and destroy my Chen family. You arranged for me. The 2 security guards were beaten to the ground by him. By the way, he slapped me and even told you to kneel. Dad, you must be the master for me. Chen Jinghua glanced at his son, and found that his entire face was swollen. Now, his face was completely blue. In this banquet, although there are no top figures in Jiangqing, the participants are all Jiangqing's famous entrepreneurs. If things spread out, his Chen family will not become Jiangqing's biggest joke. He suppressed the anger in his heart, looked at everyone, and said in an undoubted tone, "Do it, stand up by yourself, kneel down and kowtow, my Chen family will consider giving you a whole body." This is the attitude of the Chen family. Everyone's eyes fell on Yi Chen's body, thinking that the kid would be trembling in shock. But I didn't expect that Yi Chen, who was the party involved, was still eating. Yes. That's right. Still eating. Fuck, where did the starving ghost come from? Patriarch Chen didn't pay attention to it. This isn't a neuropathy hospital, right? You said, would this guy feel like he is dying and have a good meal at last? Probably. Everyone looked at Yi Chen with sympathy. Chen Jinghua glanced at Yi Chen's direction, snorted coldly, and said to the bodyguards beside him, "Bring that kid here." Yes. More than a dozen bodyguards rushed up instantly, without any words, they cut them down with a hand knife. Sun Yi also felt the gust of wind in his ear, and quickly reminded Yi Chen, "Be careful." Just when the hand knife was about to fall, Yi Chen finally put down his chopsticks, slightly on the side of his body, and directly grabbed the hand. "You guys are far from qualified." His cold voice seemed to have some magical power, resounding throughout the banquet hall. The bodyguard who was caught by his hand lost his senses for a moment, then woke up again, drew a dagger from his waist, and walked directly towards Yi Chen. At the same time, he said to the others, "The idea is a little bit tied, let's get it together." In an instant, 7 or 8 fists slammed at Yi Chen. Life and death are only in one thought. "Hey, do I have to do it?" Yi Chen shook his head helplessly, then his arm shook. Released the bodyguard's hand, and saw a faint air current spreading in all directions. Then with a boom, the bodyguard's body directly hit the surrounding companions. In just a few seconds, more than a dozen bodyguards lay on the ground in all directions. Lost combat capability. At this moment, the whole world is silent. Because of this kind of battle, the visual impact is too strong. A thin young man. And it's still facing a dozen people. Only made one move. In a few seconds, all fall down. Nima, are these bodyguards dolls? Sun Yi is completely stunned. Her breathing is rapid, and her chest is constantly ups and downs, and the waves are magnificent. She stared at Yi Chen next to her with wide-eyed eyes, completely speechless. Didn't this guy come from the country to sell prescriptions to cheat money? These years, these doctors in the countryside are so fierce. Yi Chen, you. Yi Chen cast a trusting look at Sun Yi, and said, "You said that I would block the wine. So from today, no one dares to let you have a drink. No one." After finishing speaking, he turned around abruptly, his cold eyes shot directly at Chen Jinghua. 5 years ago, he was a waste of the Yi family. Surprise. 5 years later, Yi Chen is back. He came back with a cultivating base of weeping ghosts and gods. Chen Jinghua was also frightened by the cold eyes, and stepped back a few steps, but the old man behind him supported him. He always felt that this young man was familiar, but he couldn't tell. "Old Ming, is this guy?" Lao Ming nodded, and said in an old voice, "You guessed it, this person should be the same as me, but depending on the other person's age, it shouldn't be long before, so it's not to be afraid." When Chen Jinghua heard the news, he couldn't help but sighed and respectfully said, "If this is the case, then Lao Ming will take action." To the outside world, Ming Lao is just the steward of the Chen family, but only Chen Jinghua knows that Ming Lao's position in the Chen family is only that of the old man who practiced in Wui Mountain. More importantly, Ming Lao is the legendary ancient warrior. Powerful. He once saw Ming Lao use only one finger to cut a crack in the ground. Horror. In the past few years, the Chen family's position in Jiangqing has skyrocketed, and the biggest reason is because Ming Lao. Urban Medical God Chapter 6, I am the one you can never afford. Ballroom. Lao Ming took a few steps and came directly to Yi Chen. He narrowed his eyes and put his hands behind him, just like a master. Boy, don't think you will be lawless after you learn a few tricks. In the eyes of the old man, you are just an ant. Chen Feng was ecstatic when he saw that Ming Lao had shot. He knew that Yi Chen would definitely die this time. All madmen can only die before Ming Lao. Ming, I want this kid's right hand. Chen Feng shouted. Lao Ming nodded, and the old voice sounded again, boy, now my Chen family wants you a hand, do you have something to say? Yi Chen was really speechless, and said coldly, it's really noisy. If you talk nonsense, I will let you be a useless person in this life. This sentence instantly spread to everyone's ears in the hall. In that moment it was clearly visible that at least half of the people could not help covering their mouths, they were afraid they would exclaim. Ming shook his head and sighed, arrogant young man. After said, his figure suddenly disappeared. The whole banquet hall was windy. Suddenly appeared in front of Yi Chen. Bring the wind with one palm. Cut directly towards Yi Chen's right hand. I will let you know what a frog at the bottom of the well is today. Yi Chen hurriedly ran, 9 heavens Xianyang Ju, his dantian surged, and a qi directly poured into his arm. If anyone pays attention, he will definitely find that Yi Chen's palm is glowing at this moment. Go! Yi Chen slammed up into the wind and directly collided with Ming Lao. In an instant, the surrounding glass table shattered. A strong air current is even going in all directions. Boom! Something that everyone expected happened. Lao Ming flew out. There was a splash of blood in the air. One move, Ming Lao loses. The seat is full of silence, and a needle can be heard clearly. Everyone in the room stared at Yi Chen with incredible eyes. Sun Yi covered her mouth, her eyes were round and her face was unbelievable. Chen Zhenghua and Chen Feng who are not far away are petrified and stay on the spot. Has always thought that the powerful old man was actually defeated. And still lost to a young man. What's happening here? How is this possible? To say that the most shocked of these people is only Ming Lao, when his palm and Yi Chen collide. No one knows what kind of stormy waves are set off in his heart. He forcibly supported himself and raised his head, almost squeezing a word from his throat. Who are you? How could your cultivation base be? Who am I? Yi Chen looked at the old man on the ground condescendingly. At this moment, his temperament completely changed, and the whole person seemed to be above all things, overlooking all beings. I am someone you can never afford to offend. Yi Chen's voice sounded like a rolling thunder in the banquet hall. Lao Ming didn't know why, when he heard these words, he spit out another mouthful of blood and passed out completely. Then, Yi Chen's eyes fell on the Chen family father and son again. Chen Zhenghua, what else do you have to say? Chen Zhenghua's complexion changed drastically when he heard it, and he couldn't take care of anything anymore, so he kicked Chen Feng's leg. Pump! Chen Feng knelt down. This lord, it's my godson who can't do anything. You can dispose of this thing whatever you want. When Chen Feng heard that his father had abandoned him, he realized the seriousness of the matter and quickly begged Yi Chen for mercy. I really don't know that Miss Sun is your woman. I was wrong, I was really wrong. Yi Chen pulled out a chair and sat down, looked at Chen Feng with amusement, and said, do you think I need to apologize? Chen Feng felt a little bit in his heart, and immediately understood. He knelt down in front of Sun Yi, begging for mercy. Miss Sun. Yes, I'm sorry, I am a dog who looks down on people, I shouldn't scold you. Yes bitch, my whole family is bitch. Chen Feng said, and even slapped himself with a hand. He was born in a big family, and he naturally knew how to watch his words and looks, and now Uncle Ming is down. Their Chen family really has no support. The most important thing now is to survive from the hands of this demon. Sun Yi was a little frightened, watching the old man kneeling in front of him. She didn't know what to say for a while. A minute later, she tremblingly said, You go. Chen Feng raised his eyebrows and glanced at Yi Chen, and found that the other party had no objection. He quickly stood up, came to Chen Zhenghua, and whispered, Dad, let's go quickly, let's go to the police station to kill this kid. Chen Zhenghua nodded. He didn't want to stay in this place for another second, now his back was soaked. The two were about to leave, a lazy voice sounded from behind. Chen Jinghua, did I let you go? Chen Jinghua stopped, stiff. He slowly turned around, and looked at the young man who was sitting not far away questioningly. You are calling me? I don't seem to offend. Kneel down. Yi Chen shouted angrily. If Sunny were not by his side, the evil spirits all over him would have filled his whole body. Today's events are over, but the events of 5 years ago are far from over. Chen Jinghua only felt a powerful pressure coming, his shoulders were like a huge mountain. Bump. Chen Jinghua knelt directly on the ground. At this moment, the faces of everyone present changed. The battle just now happened very quickly. You read the book www.yuukangshu.com and they couldn't understand it, they just knew that Yi Chen could fight very well. What if you can fight? This society is a society under the rule of law. No matter how you can fight, you can't beat bullets. But Chen Jinghua knelt down in front of him, it was completely different. Although the Chen family is not the top family in Jiangqing. But it is also an extremely powerful existence. The helm behind such a powerful family actually kneeled to a young man in his 20s. No one will believe it. The first reaction in everyone's heart is that Jiangqing is about to change. Has changed completely. Yi Chen, regardless of the reactions of the people around him, stood up and walked towards Chen Jinghua step by step. S footsteps are very light, but in Chen Jinghua's eyes, this is the footsteps of death. Soon, Yi Chen stopped, he looked at Chen Jinghua condescendingly, as if the heavens looked down on the ants. He slowly opened his mouth, just about to speak, boom. The door was knocked open. A dozen special police officers armed with guns rushed in. Don't move. Chen Jinghua couldn't help sighing when he saw these special policemen, his fortunes were saved. Although there are ancient warriors in China, no matter how powerful ancient warriors are, they are also restricted by the state apparatus. So for so many years, there have been very few riots of ancient warriors. Yi Chen glanced around, his eyes did not waver, the old man told him something about Huaxia, and he also knew that the Huaxia authorities were in charge of ancient martial artists and cultivators, but he must revenge today. The standing guy, I order you to squat down with your head. If you don't squat down again, I have reason to kill you. Warning for the first time. New book issue, please give me a reward. Please recommend. Please collect. I love you. Urban Medical God Chapter 7, Dragon Soul Commando. To Yi Chen's surprise, the special police officer who spoke was actually a girl. He turned his head, and he saw a girl facing him. The woman is close to a tall figure of 1.7 meters, and is wearing a neat police uniform. The turquoise blouse and the knee-length uniform skirt made her look heroic, like a goddess. Yi Chen found out from her certificate on her chest that the other party was called Bai Libing and he was the captain. Bai Libing saw that the standing man dared to stare at his chest, and became more angry. He pulled the trigger directly and said, "Hold your head and squat down," warning the second time. Yi Chen still didn't move. Just when Bai Libing was about to warn for the third time, Sun Yi rushed out, took Yi Chen's hands directly on top of his head, and forced Yi Chen to squat down. After doing all this, Sun Yi also squatted by the side and whispered, "Yi Chen, what are you surprised? They will really shoot. We will go to the police station to make a record later. We should be fine. Anyway, there is surveillance, and you are self-defense all the time, it's okay." Yi Chen didn't want to explain anything, so he nodded. Bai Libing relaxed now. I don't know why, that thin young man always makes her feel dangerous. She glanced around, there were obvious signs of fighting. When she saw Chen Jinghua kneeling, she was shocked. How could this guy kneel? She is the head of the Chen family. It is said that it is the president of the Jiangqing Chamber of Commerce. Stop thinking about it, she directly ordered, Xiao Zhou, take away the camera materials from the banquet hall, and then ask the hotel for a roster of attendants. Captain, what about the remaining people? Xiao Zhou asked. Bailey Binghan raised his eyebrows, and a crisp voice sounded, take it all away. At 8 o'clock in the evening, the gate of Jiangqing police station. Yi Chen and Sun Yi finally walked out. This time the police took everyone away only for investigation, and mainly made transcripts to understand the specific situation. The police also checked the camera of the hotel at the time, and they knew the general things, but what made them strange was that the fight between Yi Chen and the old man of the Chen family seemed to have been cut, leaving only a large area of snowflakes. Putting aside the whole process of that period, Yi Chen belonged to legitimate defense, and they naturally couldn't detain Yi Chen. Sun Yi breathed the air outside, and said with emotion, "It's better to be outside. I really don't want to go in for the second time in my life. I must take a shower when I go back to get rid of the bad luck." Yi Chen did not speak. He knew very well that the existence of Chen Jinghua and his son was still a hidden danger for Sun Yi. Once he leaves Jiangqing, Sun Yi is bound to be angry with the Chen family. Whether it is for things 5 years ago or Sun Yi, these two people must die. It seems to find a time to solve these two people. Yi Chen murmured. "What? Yi Cheng, what did you just say? What do you want to solve? Do you want to go to the bathroom?" Sun Yi seemed to have heard something and patted Yi Chen's body curiously. Yi Chen scratched his head and concealed, "I was thinking, I just came to Jiangqing, I really don't know where to solve the problem of living." Sun Yi slapped his forehead, and then realized that Yi Cheng had come to Jiangqing from the countryside to sell the folk remedies. Given his financial strength, he would definitely not be able to stay in a hotel. If he hadn't been delayed in the police station, he would have arrived in the countryside early. If you count it like that, it's because you made him like this. Sun Yi hesitated for a long time, and finally seemed to have made up his mind, saying, "Well, Yi Cheng, you go to my house and stay for a while. There is still a room in my place. Although it is not big, it is better than sleeping in the park." Yi Chen leaned in front of Sun Yi and smirked, "Director Sun, you are not afraid that I am a bad person? Or, do you think I am too handsome today and want to accept my personalities?" Sun Yi gave Yi Chen a white look, pretending to be disgusted. "Just your three-legged cat kung fu, grandma, I still look down on my eyes, I love to sleep, huh?" "Sleep, of course sleep. Who wants you to sleep?" "Humph, but the words are ahead, I only allow you to sleep for one night." As soon as Sun Yi spoke, she covered her mouth. This sounded too ambiguous. Look at Yi Chen's humble look again, so he's sure to have a bad stomach. Because the car is still in the underground parking lot of Dragon Tiger Hotel, the two can only take a taxi and return to the hotel parking lot first. Soon, the taxi came, and the two got into the car. The moment Yi Chen closed the door, he took a deep look at the Jiangqing police station. He could clearly feel that he had been peeping at them. After Yi Chen and Sun Yi left, a woman in sportswear came out, and it was Bai Liebing who took Yi Chen away in the afternoon. A sports suit vividly set off by Liebing's rugged figure, and a ponytail is full of competence. The key to this moment is that her face that is damaging to the country and the people is also revealed. She returned to her car, opened the laptop in the car, and put the monitoring of today's hotel several times, and it just slowed down 100 times later. The Chen family's bodyguards are said to be retired special forces. Why can't they fight in front of this guy? Is it a coincidence, or does this guy really have this strength? She suddenly thought of something, and quickly dialed an ocean phone. Soon, the phone went through. "Big brother, are you performing a mission? I'm really sorry. I have something to trouble you, Brother, you can watch the video I sent you and help me analyze the young man inside. I am waiting for your call. Yu reading www.yuukangshu.com." The phone hung up, and Bai Liebing fell into deep thought again. At this moment, far away in Siberia, Ural Mountains. There is a house about 20 square meters in size in the mountains. This is the safe house of the Chinese mysterious Dragon Soul Commando in Siberia. There are various weapons in the room, ranging from daggers and knives to large guns and shells, full of murderous air. A burly young man in a camouflage uniform hung up the phone and sat directly on the wire bed. In the next second, his gaze condensed, and his 5 fingers gently gripped out of thin air. The notebook placed 2 meters away actually violated the force of gravity and flew directly to the palm of his hand. This little junior girl is really restless. Based on her family background, why should she go to a small place to be a police officer? It is really troublesome to find me to solve the case all the time. I am also the leader of the Dragon Soul Commando. No business is the same all day long. Although he was muttering, Ching still turned on the computer, logged into his mailbox, and downloaded the video that Bai Libing had sent him. Just a few seconds after the video was played, he guessed that it should be a normal fight. His face was a little unhappy, and he muttered, "What is the analysis of this kind of pediatric fight? Could it be that this young man was killed by this group of bodyguards? It's really possible. This group of bodyguards looks at the gesture that the special forces should retire. TSK, it is a shame that a group of special forces bullied a boy who had no power to restrain the chicken. He was so bored that he picked up a sandwich and put it in his mouth. Suddenly, his pupils shrank. The whole person sat up even more. He stared at a young man in the video. Slowed down every movement even more. This is Urban Medical God Chapter 8, this figure is too hot. This is. Ching watched the video again a few times, but every time he watched it, a more terrifying storm was set off in his heart. Unconsciously, the sandwich in his hand has fallen to the ground. The picture of the notebook freezes. It is a very young face. Aloof, self-confidence, and disdain are all over this face. He stared at Yi Chen in the video, without saying a word, but only he knew that he felt danger for the first time in his life. This is not a confrontation. But through videos that don't know how blurry. He was born into a military family since he was a child, and he began to practice ancient martial arts at the age of 10. He has received the most rigorous training in the world. It is also a powerful martial arts that no one else can control. He successfully entered the Huaxia Dragon Soul Commando, and performed countless missions in a year, becoming the Dragon Soul War Wolf that frightened the World Underground Organization. I don't know how many people's blood is on his hands. He is even numb to death. But the young man in the video gave him a sense of crisis for the first time. Outsiders may think that this young man is just lucky and will have a good time, but only he knows that this young man is an extremely powerful ancient warrior. May even be a martial arts master standing on top of the mountain. What does Budo Master mean? A martial arts master can destroy a well-equipped M-State SEAL team in the blink of an eye. 10 minutes later, Ching suppressed the shock in his heart and dialed Bai Libing's phone. "Junior sister, I want all the information about the young man in the video. Right away. Right away. Don't ask why. Give it to me right away." At 10 o'clock in the evening, Jiangqing Dadu apartment. Sun Yi took Yichen back to where she lived. It was a single apartment in the city center with 2 bedrooms, 1 living room and 1 bathroom. Is not big, but it is warm. When Sun Yi arrived in the living room, she took off her coat. Maybe it was because it was hot or the shirt was too tight. She unbuttoned a few buttons of the shirt again, and the fullness of the shirt came out in an instant, bringing a strong feeling to Yichen. Shock. Is very white and big. Yichen didn't want to watch it, but as a man, he really couldn't help it. This Sun Yi's figure is too good. Sun Yi didn't notice Yichen's reaction at all. He bent down to tidy up the dolls on the sofa, and said, "Yichen, although it's not a big place, the supporting facilities are pretty good and it's convenient to live in. If you need anything at night, you can tell me. I am also a half landlord, I always want to satisfy you." Yichen stood behind Sun Yi, and he could just see the curve of the other man's bent over and plump hips. This is a typical overwaist. For some reason, Yichen said in a horrible way, "Does physiological needs count?" Sun Yi's body was shocked. She wanted to scold Yichen a few times, but when she thought of being molested by this guy several times today, she stood up straight and came to Yichen. She stretched out a hand on Yichen's shoulder, bit her red lips lightly, extremely seductive. Slowly, she slid her hand from Yichen's shoulder to his chest, and her slender fingers were still making a circle there. Then, a tingling voice sounded in Yichen's ear, "Yichen, you said we are alone in the same room, do we want to do something meaningful?" Yichen has been focusing on cultivation for the past 5 years. He has never touched a woman. Now he is tempted by this kind of temptation. He is really overwhelmed. He just wanted to agree. Sun Yi changed his face and pushed Yichen away. Instructed, if you want to live here, it's not free. Go and clean the kitchen bowl. Yi Chen. Finally, Yi Chen went to the kitchen to clean the dishes honestly. If the people there knew, the famous bloodthirsty dragon would actually wash the bowl for a woman, and it would be a fall. In fact, for Sun Yi, no matter what she asked, Yi Chen was willing to satisfy her, just for the love that buried the Yi family 5 years ago. And this love, he may not end his life. Yi Chen, who had finished cleaning the bowl, returned to the living room and found that Sun Yi was gone. He didn't think much about it. After all, Sun Yi just said he was going to the convenience store downstairs to buy things. He stretched his waist and walked to the bathroom. Just opened the door, he was stunned. Like petrified. Because he found that Sun Yi was also inside. More importantly, Sun Yi obviously intends to take a bath. At this moment, all she has taken off is her bra and panties. Yi Chen saw a pair of big white rabbits like gelatin white jade, half covered, the thin cloth couldn't hide Sun Yi's hot body. Was squeezed in the waist, a pair of long and well-proportioned legs were exposed, and even the beautiful lotus feet were silently enchanting, sending out a seductive invitation. Wearing clothes during the day, Yi Chen can only know that Sun Yi is in good shape. But now I take off my clothes, this figure is so hot that it bursts. Is no less than the beauty pageant models on TV. Sun Yi also noticed something was wrong, and turned sideways, the moment he saw Yi Chen appear at the door. Ah! A scream resounded throughout most apartments. Yi Chen, Yu reading www.yuyukeungshu.com, won't you let me go out? Yi Chen then reacted, closed the door quickly, and apologized, Sun Yi, I didn't mean it, I want to go to the bathroom. But no one answered him. Soon he heard the sound of water rushing from the bathroom, and it was obvious that Sun Yi was already taking a shower. Yi Chen shook his head helplessly, came to the sofa, and sat cross-legged. After all, a girl would not be able to get out in a bath for a while, so it is better to practice. Although it now seems that his realm and cultivation are enough to crush these people, the old man reminded him before he left that China's vast land is far from simple as it seems, and even cultivators like him are hidden in the dark. Today, the Ming elder of the Chen family is the best example. A small Chen family in Jiangqing has such a master as shelter. What about the family in Jiangnan province? Not to mention the man in the capital. Yi Chen stopped thinking about it, and started, 9 heavens Xianyang Ju, only to see a faint qi overflowing from the dantian, towards his surroundings. The Jinqi became more and more pure, and gradually turned into a golden light, like a 9-day dragon coiling around him. An hour later, Sun Yi walked out wrapped in a bathrobe, her hair was a little wet, and her face flushed. When she saw Yi Chen sitting cross-legged, she gave a pounce and laughed. Yi Chen, what are you doing, learning from those heroes on TV to practice internal skills? Yi Daxia, stop practicing, go take a bath. As for the clothes, if you don't mind, the last time my brother came here to play leave one set, so you can wear it first. Yi Chen opened her eyes and slowly exhaled a suffocating breath. Then she looked at Sun Yi and smiled and said, okay, you are the landlord, everything is up to you. Urban Medical God Chapter 9, Yi Chen's woman, do you dare to move? Soon, Yi Chen came to the bathroom holding a few clothes, took off all the clothes, and opened the shower to wash his body. Streams of water dripped across his firm chest, along the chest muscles across the 8-pack abdominal muscles carved like a knife, reflecting a metallic luster in the light. As the breathing slowly rises and falls, it reveals a murderous aura that makes people afraid to approach. Actually, after Yi Chen was rescued 5 years ago, he thought he was lucky, but he didn't expect that the nightmare had just begun. The old man didn't teach him anything at first, but threw him into a huge cage. Inside the cage is a giant tiger who has been hungry for 3 days. One person, one tiger, only one can survive. No one knows what happened inside, and no one would have thought that a teenager would survive with bare hands. After this, the old man took him to many places, and Yi Chen survived with the monstrous anger in his heart. He knew he had to survive, he wanted revenge. He wanted to find everyone who participated in the party at Yunhu Villa. The picture turned, Yi Chen turned off the shower, and just about to get the clothes, Yu Guang caught a glimpse of a basket in the corner. Inside the basket is a shirt and a long silk stocking. The top of stockings is a pair of pink underwear. Very fragrant. This is Sun Yi's. Yi Chen even clearly saw a trace of unidentified liquid glowing in the center of the underwear. This won't be that. Yi Chen's breathing was a little short. He has been a virgin for so many years. Now that he sees such a private thing, even if he doesn't want to control his mind, he can't do it. At the same time, Sun Yi outside has been playing music and cutting fruits. Suddenly, she thought of something, her face changed drastically, and her eyes were full of panic. She usually throws her changed clothes into the bathroom basket, and this time is no exception. But she is not alone in the house now. And Yi Chen. More importantly, Yi Chen is taking a shower inside. In the car today, Yi Chen touched her thigh, plus the jokes after returning home. I don't know why, her body had already reacted. If he sees those underwear, how would she be a person? Sun Yi stopped listening to the sound of the water in the bathroom. It was estimated that Yi Chen had already washed and changed his clothes. He stopped thinking about it, put down the fruit knife in his hand, and rushed over. Yi Chen, I take things. Sun Yi pushed open the bathroom door, and just about to get the clothes basket, her body stiffened. She saw Yi Chen, but the other party didn't wear anything, not even underwear. I've seen it all. She even glanced down subconsciously, her head went blank for an instant. So big. Yi Chen was also quite helpless, she even doubted whether Sun Yi deliberately retaliated. Are you going out and let me change my clothes? When Sun Yi heard it, his face was flushed, and even the neck of her neck was bloody. I'll go out. Bump. The door to the bathroom is closed. Sun Yi trotted directly to the bedroom, closed the door, lay on the bed, and covered her face with a pillow. Her face is too hot, even if the air conditioner is turned on, it won't help. I saw nothing. I saw nothing. But the more she said it, the more images like that appeared in her head. She is going crazy. This is the first time she has seen a man's body. I don't know how long it took before Sun Yi came over and muttered, this guy looks so thin, why is he so good? And the thing under him, so big, so scary. Sun Yi didn't even get out of the room this night, but asked Yi Chen to go back to the room to rest early. Yi Chen didn't think much, he just watched everything, and he didn't suffer. Then Yi Chen returned to his room, closed the door, and locked it. No one noticed that Yi Chen seemed to have changed the moment he closed the door. A light rain gradually started outside the window. Yi Chen looked out the window with cold eyes, rainy night, killing night. Chen family, are you ready? River City, Mingzhu No. 1 Villa area. This was bought by the Chen family 10 years ago. It covers an area of more than 10 acres and integrates gardens, swimming pools and vacations. The total investment reaches 1 billion yuan, which is extremely luxurious. But such a luxurious villa, the atmosphere is a bit strange at the moment. Chen Jinghua walked back and forth in the living room, his face was blue and his mood was extremely irritable. Chen Feng, who was sitting on the sofa by the side, couldn't stand it anymore, and said, Dad, don't leave, you will be fainted by you. Chen Jinghua finally stopped and came directly in front of Chen Feng, Pop. He slapped it over. It's you bastard. Old Ming has been seriously injured and has become a useless person. Without the old Ming, the old man is not there. Our Chen family will undoubtedly die. Chen Feng disapproved and said, Dad, you are too unreasonable. Although Grandpa is not in Jiangcheng, but he is still alive after all, who dares to find our Chen family to settle accounts? Ming is very strong, but he is not even a fart in front of Grandpa. By the way, Dad, or let's go there and invite Grandpa out of the mountain. That kid is so crazy that he made you kneel down. You can bear it. Chen Jinghua was lost in thought, his fists clenched. He is angry. He even closes his eyes and the kid's shadow appears. He is really puzzled, reading www.uukangshu.com, he didn't seem to offend this kid, why this kid looked at him like a sea of blood and hatred. I don't know how long it took. Chen Jinghua made up his mind and said, "Okay, tomorrow, we will fly to Wui Mountain by ourselves. I want this kid to die." Chen Feng was ecstatic and gritted his teeth. "Dad, I'm going to cut this guy's hands and feet with my own hands. Damn, I really thought I was afraid that he would not succeed. And that Sun Yi. I will have to kill him by then. Dad, let's play with this woman's figure. I really can't find any better than her in Jiangqing. It must be a great job." Chen Jinghua also narrowed his eyes. When he went to the banquet hall in the afternoon, he actually noticed the woman. Such a good figure, it is really good to play. Just when the Chen family and his son were immersed in joy, a cold voice rang from behind them. "My Yi Chen's woman, do you dare to move?" In an instant, the laughter stopped abruptly. Chen Jinghua and Chen Feng were both startled. They are so familiar with the sound. The devil is here. How is this possible? Yi Chen strolled in front of the two people leisurely, and even sat on the sofa opposite the two. This sitting directly scared Chen Jinghua and Chen Feng. "You, how did you get in?" Yi Chen did not answer. Instead, he slowly made a cup of tea from the tea set in front of him. He sniffed the tea in front of his nose, and then took a sip. "Weishan de Hongpo, I haven't drank it for a long time, it's not bad." The more Yi Chen is like this, the more frightened the Chen family and his son. This is the human fear of the unknown. At this moment, the lives of the two of them are in the hands of a 20-year-old youth. Urban Medical God Chapter 10, Mysterious Stone. Chen Jinghua couldn't help it anymore, and said with a trembling voice, "You, what are you doing? In the daytime I already kneel for you. What do you want us?" Chen Feng couldn't stand the tense atmosphere either, so he knelt down and said, "Brother Yi, Master Yi. I beg you to let me go. My dad brought up the matter about Sun Yi just now. It has nothing to do with me. You. Just let me go. I am willing to be a cow and a horse for you. You." Chen Jinghua didn't expect at all that at this moment, his son actually sold himself directly. He knew it would be difficult to survive this time. He stood up, forced himself to calm down, and said loudly, "I don't care who you are or where you are from. I tell you that there is a man behind my Chen family. Grandmaster. If you dare to kill us, Grandmaster's wrath, but you can bear it." "Grandmaster?" Yi Chen smiled. "You should be talking about Chen Baoguo, who left your Chen family to go up the mountain 10 years ago to practice." When Chen Jinghua heard the other party's recognition, he couldn't help but sighed. "I know you are an ancient warrior, and I also know that you ancient warriors have rules. If you kill innocent people, you will not only face the anger of a grandmaster, you will chased by that organization. Kill us, do you think you can survive?" "Oh. Really?" Yi Chen raised his head, with a smile on his lips. Suddenly, Yi Chen moved. A white air arrow was directly condensed in the palm of his hand, and the air arrow carried gusts of wind and went directly towards Chen Feng, who was about to escape. Puff! An arrow through the throat. Chen Feng fell to the ground, blood gradually staining the entire hall. "Now, do you say Yi Chen dare not kill?" Yi Chen's icy voice resounded throughout the villa. Chen Jinghua's face was pale. He glanced at his dead son. He knew that this time Chen Jinghua would not escape his death. He sat down on the sofa, his whole being like an old teenager. "I know I am going to die, but I hope you give me a reason why you want to kill my Chen family. We have no grievances and no enmity." Yi Chen laughed, laughing very loudly. He stood up and came to Chen Jinghua step by step. He looked down at Chen Jinghua condescendingly. Then, Yi Chen's voice seemed to come from the vast 9 heavens. "What a good one without grievances. I ask you, Chen Jinghua. Do you remember that banquet at Yunhu Villa 5 years ago? I will ask you again, Chen Jinghua, do you remember the Yi family couple who died 5 years ago? I will ask you last, Chen Jinghua, do you remember your vicious mouth back then?" Yi Chen's voice blasted into Chen Jinghua's ears like rolling thunder. Chen Jinghua was stunned. Of course he remembers all this. The gathering at Yunhu Villa 5 years ago was the nightmare of countless families in Jiangqing. They witnessed the destruction of a family there. They have also been shrouded in the shadow of that capital man. Between hands, destroy a family. This is too scary. Suddenly, Chen Jingwa thought of something. He raised his head, his pupils dilated, and stretched out his fingers to point to Yi Chen and exclaimed, You are the trash of the Yi family, the Yi Chen who fell into the river. How could it be possible? You are not dead. No one knows what kind of stormy sea Chen Jingwa is setting off at the moment. That Yi family trash has come back from the dead. Even returned to Jiangqing with a terrifying cultivation base. Him. He's here for revenge. Jiangqing is about to change. He can even see that before long, all families in Jiangqing will be destroyed. Yi Chen bent down, reached Chen Jingwa's ear, and whispered, Before you die, I will tell you another secret. Actually, I am not the ancient martial artist in your mouth. I am a cultivator. In your eyes, perhaps the ancient martial artist is the heaven of China. But you don't know that in the eyes of cultivators, this Huaxia and the entire earth are as small as dust. Even if you have monstrous power, even if there is a martial arts master standing behind you. Even standing a sect. I, Yi Chen, would cut it with one sword. From today, I, Yi Chen, will be the sky of China. The words fell, Yi Chen rolled up a powerful evil spirit. The evil spirit wrapped around the whole body, bursting with blood red. In an instant, his arm turned into a blood dragon, directly piercing Chen Jingwa's chest. Chen family, kill. At the same time, the summit of Wui Mountain. An old man in a fairy-style robe sits cross-legged. If you look closely, you will surely find that the old man seems to be floating, and there is an array of gossip bursts under him. The old man in Dao Pao is Chen Baogua, the elder of the Chen family. The Chen family in Jiangqing, and even the Chen family in Jiangnan province were all founded by him. Thousands of sales are exhausted, and the old man chooses to retreat to the rivers and lakes and concentrate on training. One training is 10 years. At this moment, the aura of the world of Wui Mountain is constantly pouring towards Chen Baogua's Dantian, and his cultivation level is also rising. Seems to be a breakthrough. At this critical time, suddenly, the wind blows. The old man opened his eyes, fell off, and vomited a mouthful of blood. The aura of heaven and earth all over his body has also disappeared, and even the gossip array under him has disappeared. A few seconds later, an old voice resounded throughout Wui Mountain. Who is it? Who is it? Dare to kill me, Jiangqing people. Destroy my 10-year foundation. I, Chen Baogua, swear to the heavens, you reading www.yuukangshu.com will find you personally. Then, kill you. Destroy your soul. No words for a night. Yi Chen woke up early in his practice. He wanted to practice for a while, but Hua Xia's spiritual energy was too thin, and it was so different from that place. Right now, it was impossible for him to further his cultivation. It looks like we have to find a way to refine some pill. Yi Chen opened the canvas bag that he had always carried with him, and there were only two things in it. A crumpled photo and a black stone. The photo was taken back to Ye's house after being rescued that year. As for the black stone, it was a gift from his father on his 11th birthday. Said it was a family heirloom left by the ancestors of the Yi family. Yi Chen sneered at that time, no one used the broken stone as a family heirloom, he just threw the stone under the bed, until his father had an accident, he didn't think of the stone, and he kept it by his side ever since. In a week, it will be the death day of Mom and Dad. Let's go to Tiandangshan to see them. Yi Chen just planned to put the stone in his canvas bag. Suddenly, he noticed that there was a line of small words on the stone. Was so small for so many years, he almost ignored it. Yi Chen approached the stone and saw a few lines of traditional characters. Although obscure, they could roughly understand. It seems to be some kind of stone, dripping blood. Do you want to shed blood to recognize the Lord? Not much to say, Yi Chen forced a drop of blood to drop directly on the black stone. In an instant, a powerful flow of information penetrated Yi Chen's mind. His head almost burst. Even if he is a cultivator, he can't bear it. Grass, what the is this? Yi Chen roared and fainted directly.